Hi everybody, I'm Sister Gloria LeLuia, and I realize that I might look a bit different and you might not recognize me, but I promise it's me. Anyway, I'm here to give you a little bit of a tutorial on how to do sister makeup. It's very simple once you have the basic techniques down. I'm not going to do like my traditional Gloria face just because I want this to be as basic as possible so that you have the foundations and then you can work from there. Step number one for me is non-negotiable, which is get yourself a Coco Peru shirt. You have to. You have to wear a Coco Peru shirt. That's how my face looks so good. So first I'm going to take my Maron Clown White. For the record, this tub here, I don't remember how many ounces it is, but this has lasted me about 3 years now, so please, it costs like a little bit more, but get the big tub because it will last you forever. And then you're gonna take the sort of teardrop sponge. Mine's dirty, make sure to wash yours. I don't, but whatever, you should probably wash yours. So, get some of the white on there. This should be enough to cover my entire face. It doesn't look like a lot, but a lot goes a long way. And you always want to make sure that you're using less cream than you probably think you need to, and more powder than you think you need to. That's how you get a nice clean face. It's how you prevent streaking. It's how you prevent cracking. It's just a little bit. Okay, I'll show you. Also, throughout most of this video, most of it's going to be in time lapse. Otherwise, it would be about an hour-and-a-half video. So here we go. So now that you have your face entirely covered, you might notice that it's super patchy, like it's super thick over here. Also, if you'll notice, I never went back for more. I only used what was on the edge of my thing, and I got an entire coverage. So really, that's all you need. Anyway, like I said, you might see some streaking over here. This part's super thick. I didn't really blend that in yet. That's the next stage. So once you've sort of smeared it on over your face, you're gonna take your little puffy, spongy thing, and you're going to tap it all over your face. So watch my forehead. Okay. And what that does is it helps to even out the color. It helps to get rid of any sort of wrinkles or creases or splotch marks that you might have had. So this side looked pretty terrible. So watch after I tap it. So that big harsh line that was there is gone. My cheeks are a little bit more covered than they were before. So as you're doing it, you're going very, in small increments. You're not going you're not gonna tap here, then tap there, then tap here, then tap there. You wanna tap little bits and just work across the face. That's gonna pull the makeup across in a nice even layer. So I'm gonna finish doing that, and I'll be right back. Powder that I use to set the cream, because right now it's still wet, and if anyone touches me, it'll just smear all over the place. So in order to set it, you have to use a powder. Some people will buy fancy pants like Krylon or who's the other one, like Maron or Ben Nye, the sort of setting powders. I use Johnson's baby powder because I'm incredibly poor and I need the cheapest stuff possible. Now, ingredients, there should be 2 ingredients listed as, or 1 or 2 ingredients, either talc or talc and fragrance. Do not, under any circumstances, buy baby powder that has cornstarch in it. Why? Because throughout the night, the cornstarch will mix with your sweat and the makeup and everything, and you'll get little dingleberries all over your face, and it'll crack and it'll be disgusting, and no one will want to look at you. So take a little bit of powder. Usually I do this over a bathroom sink, but because I'm recording, I'm going to do it right here at the table. It can be a little bit messy, which is why I do it over the sink, but whatever. Take your little fluffy brush. You can buy these at like CVS or whatever. For the record, I buy almost everything that I use at CVS. Some queens are like, oh, don't go to CVS, you have to go to the Krylon store. Whatever, spend 20 bucks, go to CVS, you'll be all set. So, buy your little poofy poof, dip it into your powder, pick some up. You can't see it, but it's on there. And then you're going to tap it into your face. Now, I usually start around the edges just because for me, that's the part that I usually forget to do. So if I start with it, I can't forget. And I always go over the edge because that makeup will wipe out, or the powder will wipe right off your face, so don't worry about getting it on there. And it also ensures that you're getting right up to the edge of the makeup, because for me, I always forget, and then the ends smudge and I don't get a straight line, and I'm really angry. So I'm gonna keep powdering my face. You're gonna go over the entire thing, and then I will be right back with some tips about how to check to make sure it's done. See you in a minute. So now you're going to take your nice clean dry hands and you are going to pat your face. So this is a trick that I learned when I first joined the sisters, and it works really well. Basically, you're going to take sort of your fingertips or your palms and you're going to tap your entire face. And what this does is you can feel if there are any sections that you missed, because it'll be wet and sticky. Pay special attention to those areas that we just talked about, as well as your eyebrows. Sometimes those don't get powdered very well. So for me, I didn't have any, and when you look at your hands, you'll probably see some powder, but you shouldn't see any more additional cream. So, good. Then, to get all of this excess off, you're going to use a floofy brush. And you're just literally going to go over your entire face. Now, right now, your face should be set, which means you can be pretty rough and not worry about smudging your makeup. I mean, don't go in there and with fingernails and try to scratch your face off, but generally speaking, you can be a little bit more aggressive during this stage, because now that the powder should have set all of this cream and you should be good to go. And the reason that we get all the excess off is two reasons. One, the rest of the makeup will sit better if it's not trying to fight with all the powder that's still in your face. And also, you don't want to be walking around getting powder all over everybody. You just don't. People will get mad at you. Trust me. So, white face. Complete. Now we're going to move on to some colors. So I'm just going to do a basic red today. And obviously you can use any color you want. So first we're going to work on the contouring, which means we are going to do blush or cheeks or contouring or whatever you want to call it. And I'm going to do my nose, which I always do because I think it just looks, so it looks better in pictures, because when you have a flash or any kind of bright light when people take your picture, if you don't have a contour on your nose just sort of disappears. And that looks weird. And I don't like it. Whatever. But you know, your face is your face. Do whatever you want. That's another thing. Your white fluffy brush, this one, only use this for white. Because if you try to use it for any other color and then you try to wash it and then you go try to do this again, you're probably going to still have some color left on it and you're going to get color all over your face, and then your nice clean white face is not going to be white. Same thing with this. This is the only one that I use for my brush, or for my blush. I always use pink blush every time. Some sisters will do colored contours to match the color of their face. I always do pink. It's just what I do. There's no rhyme or reason behind it. It's just what I do. This is, I know it's upside down, sorry. It's NYX Blush Ombre, or Fard Ombre, if you speak French. It's just a nice bright pink. So load up your brush, and then I'm going to show you how to card. Be right back. Okay, so you might have heard sisters talking about carding when it comes to doing their contours, and that sounds like a thing that you do when you go to the bar, but it isn't. It's what you do before you go to the bar. Haha. So you take any kind of card, right? I have this one from an event that we went to, and then take it and put it right on your face where you want your line to be. Now this is completely up to you. I'm going to show you what I do, which is this the tragus, I think it's called, this little pointy pyramid thing inside your ear. From the bottom of that to the point of my lip, I always put a line and kind of curve the thing as you're doing it too. So just go from here to there and really push it into your cheek. See how I'm making a shadow there? That's because I'm really pushing it in. And again, don't worry about your makeup running, because if you've set it really well, like, you might get a little streak, but the blush is going to cover that anyway. This is just what I do. So really push it in, and then you're going to take this brush and you're just going to make a sort of triangle shape that gets thinner toward the mouth. You'll see what I mean. And then when you pull this away, you'll have that super sharp line right there. Some sisters will use tape. I use cards. I think it's faster and easier. So here we go. And another tip that I forgot to mention is never, ever, ever lift this card until you are done. Because once you lift it, as soon as you try to put it back on, you're never going to put it in the same place. And you're going to get like 2 lines and it's going to look weird. And you can work with it, but just generally don't. So here we go. Ta-da! Oh my goodness, look how straight that line is. It is perfect. I love it. You can tell that I'm putting on makeup because the more makeup I have on my face, the more like drag queeny I get. Yes! Cheeks! Blush! Now I'm just being stupid. So now we're gonna do the other cheek. Be right back. All right, well, that cheek's not as straight as that one. That one looks super amazing, look at that. This one has like a little bump in the middle. That's just because I didn't have the card straight. I apologize. But again, at the end of the day, no one else is going to notice. So don't stress. It's a good life lesson. Okay, so now that we have cheeks, now we're gonna do the nose contour. For that one, I preferred not to use the giant fluffy brush because it's hard to handle. Instead, I use a small fluffy brush, like this one. See? Super tiny, thinner than my finger. Just a straight line from the bridge of the nose, the very top of it, down to just above the ball of the nose. Ta-da! And super saturated. And then do the other side. From here, some sisters will do this, others will not. I do. Is I will go from this point right at the top of the nose, and I'll just go into the eyebrow. Just straight line right into the eyebrow. A little bit of a curve, okay? And then the other side. Good enough. Okay, the reason that I do this is just because I think with the whole, like, once I put the color up here and then the nose, it gives you this sort of, like, natural kind of beak-looking thing, and I just think it looks really good. So that's why I do it. One of the things that I really like about being a sister is that you can cover up what you don't like on your face, or you can celebrate what you don't like on your face and turn it into something positive. You know, everyone always says, you know, glitter fixes all flaws. So for me, I have a mole on my nose. You can see it right there. It's very large and prominent, and I don't like it. It makes me feel like a witch, which I guess isn't a bad thing, but whatever. So as my boy self, I don't really like the fact that it's there, but as Gloria, as my sister, I turn that around and I celebrate it. So I take my liquid liner, which I'll talk about more when I do my eyes, and I color it in. There we go. And now I have a little Cindy Crawford nose mole. You know, I just think it looks nice. It's fun. It's cute. And Gloria always has it, so it's there. So now we're gonna work on color. I grab these Maron color sticks, cream blend sticks. So they come in every color of the rainbow, plus black and white and gray and different shades of like dark blue, light blue, dark green, light green. So you're gonna grab, for this one we're doing reds, so you're gonna grab your red stick. You're gonna grab a flat, stiff paintbrush. This is a makeup brush. It doesn't say, oh, it's a concealer brush, apparently. Who knew? We're not concealing anything. Sisters don't conceal. So you're gonna grab your sort of flat, stiff brush, and you're gonna pick some of this up. There. All right, and then once you've got a little bit on the end of your brush, you're gonna draw the shape that you want. So I'm gonna do sort of a basic over the eye shape, and just show you what that looks like in a minute. All right, are those even? They look pretty good to me. So now we just fill them in. Okay, so now once those are filled in, first of all, kind of like with the white face, don't worry too much about using a super ton of cream. It's more important that you use a super ton of powder. Also, don't worry if there's like a little bit of streaking or a little bit of unevenness. I mean, you can see here, it's not as super thick on the edges there. The one thing that you really want to make sure when you're doing this stage is just that the outline is straight. So I'm going to use the same powder that I used for my cheeks, only because it's the only red-ish powder that I brought today, haha. So grab your powder and your little tiny fluffy brush, the same one we used for our nose, and now you're just gonna do the same thing that we did with the white powder, which is to go over the red cream with the red powder. Here we go. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do eyebrows. So you're going to take your liquid liner again. Now, there are many different types of liquid liners. There are sort of ones that look like super thin little paintbrushes, and they come with an inkwell. I prefer, because I just think it's easier to use this. Now, this technically is the Maybelline Master Graphic. It looks like a Sharpie, okay? It literally just looks like one of those magic markers. And I find, and so all the liquid liner is in here. And this is just the felt tip super thing. I love it. I find that it gives me better control of the straight lines, and it comes out really smooth, and I just like it. Now, it does take practice to use it and to use it well, so if you try to use it and your face doesn't come out perfectly, don't worry. Just keep practicing and you will get better. So for my eyebrows, I always do 2 little dots, boop, boop, and then just to make sure that they're even, and then I'll fill in the rest of the brow. So watch as I do my dots. Okay, and so it's at this stage where I say, are they even? Are they even enough? I mean, this one looks a little bit higher, but really it's not going to be noticed once I finish it. So I'd say they're pretty good. Remember, when you're doing your eyebrows, they don't need to be twins. They just need to be sisters. It's the best advice you'll ever be given. Now, some sisters will do their brows higher than the color. It gives them sort of a wider face. I like to do it right on the color for 2 reasons. 1, it makes the edge of the color look a lot cleaner. But 2, it gives me sort of that like smaller and wider kind of sexy eye that Gloria is known for. Just kidding. Just kidding. Anyway, so I've done my little lines. Now you might say, those look nothing like eyebrows. They look like connect the dots. Yeah, well, now we're going to fix that. So from the top of the circle, we're going to connect over to about halfway. And then from the bottom of the circle, we're going to connect up to halfway. And that's going to give us a taper. Say it with me. Taper. Very good. Let's do that now. See? So now we went from the top of the circle to about half to 2/3 of the way down the brow. And we went from the bottom of the circle up. And it creates a taper. Eyebrows. Let's do the other one. Taper. Taper. So now we're gonna do what? So some sisters will do a full black outline, just a nice thin outline around the entire color. I don't, only because my eyebrow is on it. So when I do the black, the eyebrow kind of disappears. Do you know what I mean? If you're doing your eyebrow above your color, then you can do it, and I think it looks a little bit better, but that's up to you. It's your face, not mine. But what I am gonna do is do like a little flicky wing on the side. So watch as I do that. So what I did was I followed the line of color right from here to the corner of my eye, and I stopped just before the lid, because once you put your lashes on, you're not really gonna see that. And if people do see it, who cares? Whatever. Let's see them do it, right? So I go from the corner of the eye to just below the eyebrow. And then I go sort of from the top of the lid, not like all the way to the top usually, but I lift my brows and I go to the top and I just draw a straight line right across and I connect them. And then I fill this in right around the crease, fill it in, cheeky cheeky, and then you're done. And then when you lower them, it becomes a little bit thinner and a little bit more like a little cat eye. When we do the bottom, it'll look even better, but let's do the other side. Top of the crease, straight over, just below the brow, to the corner of the eye, triangle. And then when you drop them, they should look pretty even. Good. So now we're gonna do the bottom. Now the bottom is a little tricky. So for those of you who have seen my face, you know that I do those Harlequin points. I'm not gonna do those today just because this is sort of the basic sister face, and I don't wanna encourage you to be like, this is how you have to do your face. You have to do your face just like Gloria. You don't, do your face. So instead, what I'm gonna do is just sort of a basic under the lid. So I'm gonna do just below the actual lash line, because you want your eyes to look a little bit bigger than they naturally are. So just below where your lash line is, we're gonna do a line, and we're gonna follow it right from the outside all the way to the edge. Some sisters will do it like halfway and then to the edge, because it gives your eyes a bit more of like a cat eye kind of look, but I do the whole thing because it's more clowny, I think. So here we go. See? Super easy. And what it does is, if you look at the two eyes, it makes this eye look a little bit more, I mean, to call it realistic would be silly, but it makes it look a little bit more finished. Because when you're over here, the bottom side is so white that your whole eye just kind of disappears. But over here, when you have this line, see, it gives the eye a bit more of a complete look. So what we're also going to do is we're going to do sort of a flick out, just for drama, if you will. So we're going to go from, if you'll notice, I didn't connect these because I'm not going to. I do as Gloria sometimes, but for this look, we're not going to. So we're going to sort of follow this line that we already made with the top wing, and we're going to follow that out a little bit below it, okay? There we go, there we go, ta-ta. Now you can leave it like this. I think what I'm gonna try, I've never done this before, I don't think. So if it looks like crap, bear with me and just skip that step. But I'm gonna sort of connect the bottom here with this, and I'm gonna make sort of a second triangle. That'll look cool, right? I guess we'll find out in a minute. All right, I messed up twice in a row, but this is just life lessons. First of all, I started to make this point too thick, so I just had to go with it and make it thick. But whatever, now I look more Egyptian, I guess. And then on this side, I accidentally did a little bloop right there. We'll figure out how to fix that later. You're gonna make mistakes. Don't worry about it. We'll fix it. No one knows what your face was supposed to look like except for you. Okay, so because we messed up over here and we did this sort of thick Egyptian eye, we had to do the same thick Egyptian eye on that side, and now it looks like it was on purpose because they're even. That's the magic of makeup. Just don't tell anyone that you messed up, which is why I'm recording this and telling everyone that I messed up. As far as that little bloop, I think I know how we're gonna fix that, but I'll tell you later. So the next step, now that we've finished the eyes, you might say, you're not wearing any eyelashes. I usually do those last. So now that we're finished with the eyes, we're gonna move on to the lips. Because no sister looks complete without the lips. That's when you look like a postulant. And no one wants to fuck a postulant. You're gonna take your same brush that we did on the eyes, your same cream that we did on the eyes, and you're gonna paint your lips. So a lot of sisters have relatively thin lips, so they like to paint the big clown lips on. My lips are naturally plump. So I don't usually go too far out of where they naturally are. The bottom lip especially is very plump. So I usually just paint the bottom lip the way it is. But the top lip I go a little bit higher and just make a nice little pointy cupid's bow. Here we go. Darling. Okay, so now that we've done that, same thing with the eyes, we're just gonna cover it with powder. I will tell you one little trick that you might want to do, which is to get yourself like a white powder and a secondary little tiny brush, fluffy brush. And on the inside sort of circle, part of the bottom lip, some people do it on the top lip too, just take some white powder and then do sort of an oval shape there. Watch. There we go, that's a little brighter. So what this does is it creates sort of a fuller kind of bottom lip. Drag queens do this kind of thing all the time. This is a lot more clowny than a drag queen would do. They would probably blend it a little bit better. But we're not drag queens, we're sisters. And sisters are supposed to be a little bit clowny. They're supposed to be a little bit clowny. So, that's what we do. Now, you're going to take your red, and you're going to do the rest. Where's my red? There it is. So now you're gonna do the rest of the lip. Just like with the eyes, try not to go over the edge, because once you do, you can't get rid of it. Sorry. Okay, so now that that's done, remember not to go over the part that you already did with the white. I don't necessarily know that I have to say that, but just in case you want to keep that as white as possible. So now the lips are done. Oh, don't they look seductive? Ooh. So remember before when I said that I was going to outline the eyes, but then I changed my mind because I don't outline my eyes. We are going to outline the lips. So if you want to know how to outline your eyes, it's this, but on your eyes. We're going to take our same liquid liner, this thing's a miracle, and we are literally just going to outline the lips. It's as simple as that. Here we go. There we go. They are now outlined in black. And what this does is kind of like when we did the bottom part underneath the eye, how it just sort of makes the eye look a little bit more finished. This just makes the lips look a little bit more finished, right? They look a little bit more clowny, a little bit more extreme, but they also look a little bit more finished and a little bit prettier, I think. So now we're going to move on to the rest of the eyes. Some sisters will use a different pair of lashes every time. I don't, because I'm what? Cheap. So if your lashes start to fall apart after like 5 or 6 wears, or they start to get crusty, it might be time to change them. Other people recommend that you change them so that you don't get like pink eye, but whatever. I've never had pink eye. I have pink eyes now. That was stupid. Okay, so you're gonna take your lash glue. I use Duo, just because it's super cheap again. And you're gonna put a tiny, first of all, you're gonna figure out which lash you have. So every lash generally has a side where the lashes are a little bit longer and where they're a little bit shorter. These are pretty even all the way around, but the longer lashes you want to go on the outside of your eye, so that makes this eye, or this lash, my right eye. So you're gonna take your glue and get a little blob at the top, and then run a little speed all the way down right on the line. Now for this stage, you want to make sure that you're using enough glue that it will hold your lashes on, but not so much glue that it's a giant, wet, disgusting, sticky mess. So you'll learn where that line is eventually. But so you can see I just have like a little bead of glue right on the edge there. And then you're going to let it dry for about 20 to 30 seconds, just so it gets a little bit sticky. Otherwise, if it's wet, it just sort of flops around. Okay, now here comes putting on your lashes. This is most people's, whether they are drag queens or sisters or just natural women's. This is most people's least favorite part because it's really difficult to do. So kind of like the eyebrows, don't worry if they're not super even. Just keep moving your face around the whole night. No one will ever notice. You're gonna take it and you're gonna just gently push it onto your lid with your eye closed. One eye closed so you can see what you're doing with the other one. And then I usually take the end of a makeup brush and use that to push it on. Because if you use your finger, I just find that like with me, it usually tends to stick to my finger. And then I just end up making a bigger mess than I already had. Okay, and so let that dry for a few seconds and then there you go, you have a lash. So you might be saying to yourself, but Gloria, there's so much white between your lash and your actual eye, including all of the white lashes that I can see. Yeah, we're gonna fix that in a minute. Calm down. And then just do your other one. Okay, so those look pretty even. I'm pretty happy with them. Actually, they look really even. I'm very happy with them. Thank you. So now we're going to worry about the fact that we have white eyelashes underneath our black eyelashes. What's going to come out again? Magic, miracle, liquid liner. I swear I use this all the time. Now, some people, like I said, will use regular old mascara. Totally fine. I just find that it's harder to use. I hate those little, like, bristly brush things. So what I just do is I go to my eyelid and I open it as wide as I can, and then underneath the white lashes, I just start to paint them, and they sort of disappear. It's not perfect, but no one ever notices, so here we go. There, so now over here where you can see my white lashes, and over here you can't, you can kind of see my black lashes, but they kind of blend in a little bit better. That's what we're looking for. And like I said, it's not like super perfect, and there's a little bit of a, like a smudge line there, but At the end of the day, if you're moving and you're talking and you're blinking, like, no one's gonna notice. They barely notice the white lashes. They're definitely not gonna notice the black ones. So let's do the other one. White lash is gone. So, how are we gonna get rid of that little dot right there? I swear I didn't do this on purpose so that I could teach you a lesson, but I'm gonna run with it anyway. These are my jewels. As you can see, they're in a little like prescription case. It works so well to separate the colors. If you have 7 or fewer colors. So because we're doing red, I'm gonna do red jewels. You can buy these at craft stores. They're basically just like little rhinestones. They have to be flat on the back. Let me get one out and show you. So they are flat on the back. And then they have the pretty little jewel toned sparkly rhinestone on the other side. So the flat part obviously is going to be glued to our face. And for that, some people will use lash glue. I don't, because I find that lash glue sometimes isn't strong enough. Instead, what I use is weave glue or wig glue or hair glue. This one is Proclaim Super Bond. You can see it's white hair glue. Buy the white one. This is much stronger than regular lash glue, but do not use this for your fake lashes because it is so strong that if it attaches to your natural lashes, it will rip them out. So this for rhinestones and other crap that you're gluing to your face, and this for lashes that you are gluing to your face. The end. There is no compromise here. Don't try to be cheap and only get one. I know I'm the cheap one, and even I bought both of them. But this was like $2, and it's lasted me ever since I've been a sister. So I take a makeup brush, and I just pull some of the wig glue onto the end of it, the not bristly end of it. And then I take my little rhinestone, and I gently dab some of the wig glue onto the flat side of the rhinestone. And a little goes a long way. You really only need like a thin little layer, right? And then you're gonna just sort of let that sit for a second and get a little bit tacky, just like most of the sisters are. And then you're gonna stick it right in your face. And I'm gonna use it to cover that up. And then I'm gonna do sort of like a little line of them right here, I think. Now, did you see what I did? I literally just pushed it on, push in a little bit, and let go. It'll dry in a few seconds and you'll be good to go, and it shouldn't fall off all night. Now you have a little glitter. And see? And we got rid of that black mark. Oh my God, it's genius. So now we're gonna keep going. We're gonna put maybe another one over here and then 2 on that side to even it out. Here we go. Okay, so now we've covered those up and we've added a little bit of bling. You can go as crazy with the jewels as you want. I tend to only use maybe 4 to 6, two or 3 on each side, generally speaking. Some sisters will do like a whole row down their nose. Others will do like a whole eyebrow of them. And they look great and perfect. I'm more of like a subtle kind of 1 or 2 is good kind of queen. So that's why I do. I think we're done. I know, right? It seems like it went by in a flash. For me, it's been about an hour. So that's our face. Let's look at it, right? Do you remember what we looked like before? Totally different, right? So I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial. It's a very basic face, like I said. You can do all sorts of things. I do my little harlequin points. Like I said, some sisters will like bedazzle their face, just like jewels up the nose, jewels across the eyebrows. If you've ever met Sister Rosetta Stone from Boston, she literally glues flowers on her face, as does Sister Ambrosia Discordia from Orlando. She usually glues 1 flower on one face and then does a painted other face. Sisters will use glitter instead of powder. Just anything you want. It's your face, and it should express who you are and who you want to be and all that good stuff. So I really hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. From the Boston Sisters to you, we love you, we adore you, we respect you, we protect you, we serve you, We are your sisters. Bye. Mwah.